YouTube. This is Doris, and I am doing my Monday Night Raw recap. So it was a decent show. There was a lot of nonsense matches that I'll kind of go over, but won't spend too much time on. So we started the show off with Randy Orton in the ring. He calls out AJ. AJ comes out. They kind of go back and forth on who does a better RKO. And then Drew McIntyre comes out, states how Randy and AJ are doing a who's got the bigger RKO, and then he kind of says that my Claymore is bigger, and says that he knows he didn't come here to talk, they didn't come here to talk, so he says, let's just fight. And this leads to a triple threat match. Uh, at the end of the match, Orton hits a RKO on AJ. Drew's on the outside. Drew comes in with a Claymore to Randy and pins AJ for the win. I noticed once again for like the third week in a row that Drew McIntyre plays the audience a lot. Uh, so I'm just wondering if maybe he might be turning face soon. We'll have to see where that goes. We see a Mojo RAW and a Ricochet match. Ricochet wins by hitting the recoil and then the 630 off the top rope for a pin. We see Charlotte Flair versus Sarah Logan again. Sarah taps out to the figure 8. They did a Kevin Owens Big Show and a Samoa Joe promo talking about tonight's fist fight. Show tells them to just follow his lead. Brock Lesnar comes out with Paul Heyman to a lot of boos. And Paul Heyman says, ladies and gentlemen and things that live in Kentucky, my name is Paul Heyman. Well, the crowd just starts overbooing him, chanting, you suck. So they leave the ring. On the ramp, Paul Heyman says, ladies and gentlemen, and they louder you suck chants, and he says, ladies and gentlemen, my client does not suck. And they go back to the ring, and Paul starts talking again about Brock entering the Rumble, and he'll be the first to do it, which isn't true. We all know that Reigns was forced to do it a few years ago, except he was forced to put his title on the line in the Rumble. Then Paul Heyman mentions the word truth a couple of times, and we all know what's going to happen then. R-Truth comes out. And Truth says that he's glad that Paul called him out, and he's glad that he says that Brock may be a favorite to win the Rumble, but his childhood hero, Cena, taught him to never give up. So your 24/7 I-97 European Heavyweight Champion is entering the Rumble, and then says, you may be a big, big dude, Paul Heyman, but I'm going to win the Rumble. And Heyman then informs him that it is not Paul going in the Rumble, but Brock Lesnar. And then Truth says, then I am officially undeclaring my entrance into the Rumble, and says that he wasn't listening to Paul because Paul talks too much. And he starts to do a little dance and says that he does not want Brock Lesnar bringing him to Sioux Falls City. And Paul corrects him and says it's Suplex City, and no one likes him and no one likes his dance. Brock gets a little chuckle and then F5s Truth and grabs the mic and says, that's what's up. R-Truth is going up the ramp with help from the refs. Mojo RAW comes down, knocks him down, and pins him for the 24/7 championship. So now Mojo RAW is the champion. We have the Rusev Lashley match after a little promo with Bobby and Lana. And after Lana and Liv get into an altercation outside of the match that distracts Rusev, Lashley pins him. Lana and Lashley are backstage, and after going back and forth, Lana says that next week there's going to be a mixed tag match, Lashley and Lana versus Rusev and Liv, and Bobby starts yelling at her saying, "What are you doing? You expect me to beat him again?" And then she says that, and take care of her at the same time. And she says she doesn't care, no one intimidates her. So, uh, after that, we go back to the ring. Viking Warriors do an open challenge, and the Singh brothers answer, and they end up getting destroyed. Of course, the Viking Warriors win. Liv and Rusev answer the challenge and say they will face Lana and Lashley in a mixed tag next week. Lawler does the contract signing for Becky Lynch and Asuka. Becky's first one out, refuses when King offers her to say anything. She just sits. Asuka comes out with Kairi Sane. Once Asuka and Sane are in the ring, King starts to talk, and Kairi makes her way around the ring, kind of trying to maneuver herself behind Becky. Becky catches her and stands up, and Kairi starts poking her with the umbrella. Becky snatches the umbrella away from her. Kairi gets scared and jumps out of the ring. Becky throws the umbrella, and King says, "Can we just get this started, please? Let's just sign the contract." Asuka signs the contract. Becky signs the contract. Soon as Becky signs the contract, Asuka spits the green mist in her face and leaves the ring. Becky does a promo talking about how she's going to do everything she can to use the anger she has to beat Asuka, and even if she don't beat Asuka, she's going to take Asuka down with her. They do a recap of Andrade and Ray from last week, both the match and the beatdown Ray gave Andrade. Zelina says that Ray's a bad role model, he's a bad representation of Latino people and a criminal, and they've notified the authorities about the theft. They make an announcement that there is a ladder match between Ray and Andrade for next week. Ray says that he is going to beat Andrade and take his title. We have another really good match between Buddy Murphy and Aleister Black. A lot of hard kicks, a lot of outside action. Uh, Buddy tries to pin Black a couple of times, but ends up once Black puts his foot on the rope, the other time the ref catches him holding the tights. Black tries to pin him once or twice and he kicks out. And towards the end of the match, we get two black masses, and then this time Buddy doesn't kick out. For the rest of the night, Buddy sits on the floor outside the ring, even with other matches going on. Charlie tries to talk to him, and he refuses to talk to her. Eric Rowan has another squash match with a local talent. Eric ends up getting bitten by whatever is in the cage when he puts his hand in there, but they still don't show what's in the cage. Then we have our main event, Big Show, KO, and Joe versus Seth Rollins and AOP. Show is the first one to come out. AOP and Seth jump him from behind to try and take him out to get the upper hand. Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe come out with kendo sticks and help him beat them off. Then we end up with Show and Seth in the ring. AOP, Kevin Owens, and Joe up on the stage fighting. And they kind of go back and forth between the two actions. AOP and Joe and Kevin. AOP ends up getting the advantage, putting Joe on the table after beating on him, take Kevin Owens and powerbomb him through Joe and the table. So that leaves those two down. Now, if you don't know, this is a fist fight match, and all three members of the team have to be down. Shortly after that happens, Seth and Show are still down at ringside. Show throws Seth out of the ring. He lands right next to Murphy and looks at Murphy and says, "Help me, help us." And Joe comes out, I'm sorry, Big Show comes out and gets him, throws him in the ring, goes to do the knockout punch on Seth. When he gets to kind of cock it back, Buddy Murphy comes from behind and does a low blow. And then AOP come running down the ring and they do a double power bomb on Big Show. Buddy Murphy goes over and kind of props him up so that to set Seth up for the stomp. Seth does the stomp. This is the third member down, so Team Rollins wins. And Seth gives Buddy Murphy a hug, tells him he feels his pain, and now he is a member of Team Rollins. And that ended the show with them four in the ring. And that was your Monday Night Raw. Couple of good matches. Like I said, a couple that really weren't that great. But other than that, it was probably like a B show. Not too bad. You know, let me know what you thought of it. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, what you thought it was a waste of time. And hit the like button if you liked what you saw. Subscribe if you haven't. And I will see you peeps in a few days with my NXT Raw SmackDown recap. And that's about it for me, folks. Peace out. Thanks for watching. Bye.